Welcome back to another episode of the Find Food Freedom Podcast. This is your host, Sam Previtt, and I'm really, really excited that you're here today. We're going to get into a story today here in a few minutes where I'm going to tell you all about how my daughter commented on my body and how it kind of started this chain reaction in my head of body image thoughts. I thought about the diet culture entrenched version of me and how I would have handled this situation years ago versus where I'm at now on my body image journey. And, I actually told this story on a podcast yesterday. And since yesterday, like last night, something else happened. She kind of like doubled down on her body image comments towards me. So I want to give a ton of context about this because I get questions all the time from parents being like, how do I ensure that I do not pass on my body image struggles that I've struggled with my whole life to my child? Like, I want a better future for them. I want them to have a positive relationship with their body. And I understand that the majority of parents want to protect their children from the world, right? Like the fat phobic world that we live in. But unfortunately, we can't control all the triggers and the comments and the things that are going to be done to our children. And so this is going to be a great episode for parents and or if you know someone who's a parent or if you're thinking about ever having children, if that's something, even if it's not children, if you have nieces or nephews or if you're a teacher, if you're, you know, a mentor in any way to young kiddos, this message is really important. So before we get into the bulk of today's episode and the story, I want to read you this week's Find Food Freedom Win of the Week. This was a direct message that I got on Instagram from someone in our online community, and they wrote, "Hi," with a bunch of exclamation points. "I just want to say your Find Food Freedom podcast has helped me so much in the last few days. I have my first call with one of your dietitians on your team on Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to it." So these kind of messages make me so excited when people, of course, like any DM we get from someone saying like, you touch my life in a certain way or you've really helped me. Like I am always so humbled by that. And also like right now, just to set the scene for you, when I record a podcast, I am staring at myself in a computer screen. I record these on Zoom. And when I make content, I'm staring at myself on a phone. I'm so fucking sick of staring at myself and hearing my voice. And yes, I understand that I have social media platforms and they reach thousands of people, but it never computes in my head because I always have to stare at myself for this job, like truly. And so every single DM, every single message, every single comment that we get means so much to me because it reminds me that there's other human beings or human beings on the other side of the phone, right? In this virtual connection, in this virtual relationship that we are helping. And that is why I continue to show up every single day. So this is a reminder that if you enjoy this podcast, if you like our content on Instagram or TikTok, if you have been following along and trying to make peace with food and your body, it's not just me here at Find Food Freedom. We have a team of over 14 registered dietitians and certified intuitive eating counselors who specialize in weight inclusive one-on-one counseling, where they are here to support you on your food freedom and body image journey. If you are genuinely trying to improve your health physically, mentally, and emotionally, I encourage you to get a benefit check with our team. You can do that by clicking the link in the show notes below. You can go to Instagram, you can go to TikTok, or you can go to bit.ly/FFF insurance. That is our free benefit checker. We do the benefit check for you. You just type in what state you live in and what insurance plan you have. We accept health insurance. This is something I like to shout from the rooftops, aka on the podcast, because so many people have no idea that they have free coverage or extremely inexpensive coverage to get one-on-one support with a dietitian, with someone who is certified in intuitive eating that is here to help you with your food and body image journey. If you have trauma of working with a past medical professional, for this example, specifically a dietitian who maybe at one point has put you on a calorie restricted diet or made you feel guilt or shame for the foods that you eat or the amount that you eat. I am so sorry that that has happened to you. And I am here to tell you that is not the care you're going to receive with Find Food Freedom. We are weight inclusive providers. We are here to help you make peace with food and body. So get those insurance benefit checked. Get those insurance benefits checked. There's literally no downside to it. And the best part, if not the best part, but if you don't have coverage for any reason, or if we're not licensed in your state, because that's the annoying part, we have to get licensure in every state. Right now, we're licensed in 22 states. So if you don't have if we don't have licensure in your state, we give you just 100% free a month of the Find Food Freedom membership where you get 3 live coaching calls with our lead dietitian and intuitive eating counselor. There's no like gimmick to this. Like I cannot say this enough. Our goal is to help as many people as possible get the support that they need. So if you do not have coverage, you will get a month of free support, which includes those 3 group coaching calls in our membership. So get your benefits checked. Again, if you do not have benefits, we will send you an email with the link to get your free month, all of the things. Okay. Click the link in the show notes, Instagram, TikTok, it's everywhere. Yes. Okay. Get that support. We are here for you. Okay. So let's talk about this. I am like just I was going to say free balling, but that's like, ew. Like, why did that even come to my mind? That actually makes me cringe. Like, is that a term that we used a long time ago? I don't know, guys. My fucking brain doesn't work. Okay. I'm going willy-nilly on this podcast, as in, like, I don't have any notes and I usually have notes. So this is going to be crazy, but I'm just going to tell you a story and then I'm going to kind of go riff off of that because I think that's going to be the most helpful for you. So let's talk about what happened. We have aura frames, like those digital frames all over our house. We love them because we don't live close to family, so we love to put pictures of family and friends and just pictures in general on them, and then they change, and our toddler loves to look at the pictures. And so we were eating breakfast the one morning a couple days ago, and she saw a picture of me pop up when I was pregnant with her sister. And of course, my belly was very large. It was my body was large. It was near the end of my pregnancy. And she was like, big belly. And then she looks at me and she goes, Mama, I want to see your belly. So I was like, okay. So I stood up and I lifted my shirt up and I'm like right in front of her and she's like in line with my belly because she's kind of down on a chair and I'm standing up. And she kind of smushes my belly together and she goes, you have a big belly. And she looks up at me and she kind of is like waiting for my reaction. And I'm like, I do have a big belly. And then she's kind of squishing. And I was like, it's squishy. Isn't it soft? And it feels so good. And then she looks at me and then she looks down at my belly and she kisses my belly and she looks back up at me and she goes, I love your belly, Mama. And she keeps kind of like squishing it together. And that was the interaction. Okay. And then from there, once I put my shirt down, I was kind of looking at her and I was like, I love your belly. And I've mentioned this before, but one of my favorite books to read with her is called Bodies Are Cool. It's by Tyler Fetter, who's an amazing children's author. We have the book linked. If you click the link on our Instagram, I have like my favorite books for adults and children that deal with like body positivity and healing your relationship with food and body and all of the things. So we read that book often. So she knows if I say like bodies are, and then she goes, cool. And it showcases and illustrates all these different body types, diversity of skin color, disabilities. I mean, you name it, it's in there. And so I kind of like riffed off of that with her and I was like, I love your belly. Bodies are cool. And then we also have like a belly song that we sing. That is from an author, Mother Moon. They have a book written called I Love My Body. But then there's another song that I believe comes out of Mother Moon's collection, where it's like big bellies, little bellies, round bellies, flat. Some have a lot of muscle, some have a lot of fat. Some wiggle and they jiggle and some do not. And I love whatever kind of belly that you got. And I posted an Instagram probably well over a year ago of like me singing this with she was not even a toddler at the time. She was probably a baby. Um, and it went, people loved, they were like, oh my gosh, this is so healing. And so I'll sing that song to my daughter a lot. So she knows that. And so it's like, these are constantly like things that we're talking about, right, in our home. And I could not like stop no, when she was squishing my belly together, when she was kissing my belly, when she was looking at my belly, when she said, you have a big belly, like I'm looking down at her and in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to tell the Find Food Freedom community this story. But all I could think about was this younger version of me who was entrenched in diet culture, who hated my stomach. My stomach was the area that I fucking hated. And let me preface a lot of things right now, okay? First of all, disclaimer, or not even disclaimer. I just want to recognize my privilege here. I reside in a straight size body. I have thin privilege. Um, Please note that all sized bodies can have body image issues. And those who reside in larger bodies have so much discrimination, oppression, fat shaming done to them simply for existing in their body. My body right now, my body years ago, and I can pretty much guarantee that my body throughout the rest of my life is going to be deemed, air quotes, socially acceptable by diet cultured standards. Um, and it's so important to note that, okay? Because I think sometimes when people who reside in larger bodies hear this message coming from my personal experience in a straight size body, I want you to know that I do not know what it's like to reside in a larger body, and I can't pretend to know. With that being said, please know that every sized body can have body image issues, right? None of us are an exception to the diet culture pressures and standards and beauty standards that are put on us by this horrific fat phobic world that we live in. So I want to acknowledge that. Now, all I could think about when my daughter was touching me and saying, you have a big belly and all of these things, like I kept thinking about this younger version of myself who hated my stomach. I remember forcing myself um at the gym to like run a certain amount of miles or like go on the elliptical, and I don't know where I heard this, like somewhere, like when I would be sweating and my belly would feel like cool from cardio, I remember being like, I think that means I'm burning fat, and I would like grab my belly and like I hated my stomach. Like I can't say it enough. And so now I like flashed back to that, and now I flash forward to this human standing in front of me that I created with my own body, who was housed in my uterus, which expanded my stomach, to then, her sister, who's a baby, is sitting right next to me, which the exact same thing happened with her. To now, I'm like 9.5 months postpartum with my second. I had vaginal birth with my first. I had a C-section with my second. So that C-section has had added like a whole new level of trauma and like wrinkle into my body image journey. And I'm just thinking about how fucking cool it is that I get to create this acceptance around my body, right? I get to model to my daughter that I love my body. And like, yeah, my belly is squishy. And yeah, it is big. I also have diastasis recti, and I have like a bulge because of the split in my abdominal from my pregnancy, my second pregnancy that I just came out of. Like, my daughter was really big. I was carrying a lot of extra fluid. I just had a really, really big pregnancy, and it really expanded me, right? And so I'm still healing, and there's like this bulge that's created due to my abdominal splitting. And so it's so cool. Like it's so healing. And I also want to talk about how like right now I can sit here and like reflect and be like, this is so amazing. Like I'm so excited to share this with you. And This right here, what I'm experiencing with you, yes, it's cool. Yes, it's positive. Yes, it's great. And there are days that I wake up and for whatever reason, let's say I try something on in my closet. I mean, let's be real. I'm usually in sweats and I mean, look at me. You guys see me. Like I work from home. I am a creature. Like I don't really get dressed. But in the very minimal times, like I've done a few work trips where I've had to purchase clothes because I'm like, I don't fucking have anything that fits my body. Like I just wear sweatpants every day. So there are times that I have to go purchase clothes that are bigger or that fit my body because like my abdomen is distended, but like my hips and my legs, like things just don't fit properly. Like not properly, they just don't fit. The old clothes that I have don't fit my body properly now. That's what I'm trying to say. So, saying all of this, it's like, well, like there's days that I'm really fucking uncomfortable or I get really frustrated or I have negative body image thoughts. And yes, I am a certified intuitive eating counselor. I'm a registered dietitian who helps people make peace with food and body. That does not make me immune to negative body image thoughts. What it does is when they pop up or when a trigger happens, like my daughter saying, "You have a big belly, mommy. It's squishy." There might be a day that that would like really trigger me, or I wouldn't be in such a positive headspace. But I'm able now, if we go back to the negative body image thoughts, right? More so, I would say my biggest triggers with body image is just the frustration of how my body is proportioned now after having two kids, C-section, etc. And I have big babies. Like both of my girls were close to 9 pounds when they were born, so they were big for birth, right? And so that like that's allowed to happen. And now that I have this place where I'm at peace with my body in the sense of like I accept my body and I know that my worth isn't derived from the size of my body or the shape of my body, I'm able to catch the negative thoughts, to say, you're not welcome here, to get rid of them, to challenge them, and to move on and not let these thoughts derail my entire day. Now, you can go back to an old podcast. It's not that old. It was from, oh gosh, like last fall, like October, November. I did a podcast how a previous loved one at a wedding I was at asked me if I was pregnant. I was not. I was postpartum. And I talked about how, like, I really go down. That's a really great episode to go back and listen to if you're like, look, I have all these friends or family members or triggers that occur and I need to like learn how to process those negative body image comments or those negative thought processes. That's a really great episode for that. So I bring that up because I don't want you to think, I want to give you realistic expectations that like it's so fucking cool and it needs to be celebrated how far I've come, that like my daughter, if I had a daughter or a child in my 20s, like my husband and I were trying, because I've been open about my fertility journey. Like we went through from the start of trying to conceive through our IVF journey. It took almost 4 years to have a child. Like it was a long haul for us. So if I would have had a child when I initially wanted to, like if we would have got pregnant on the first time we tried, I would have been at a very different place in my journey. And I can't imagine, and this is something Jenna and I say often on What the Actual Fork podcast, I can't imagine being a mother and being at war with my body. And so if you are a birthing parent, if you are a parent in general, if you are thinking about becoming a parent and you feel like you are just at absolute war with yourself, I want you to know I'm here for you. I want you to know that I see and hear your pain and your struggle and I validate it and it's so fucking hard. And I want you to know that it doesn't have to be this way. And once we know better, once we know there's like a light, we can change direction and we can head that way, but you are not meant to go on this journey alone. You do not have the tools or resources, and that's okay. And that's where myself, my team, or other providers outside of the Find Food Freedom team, I can't stress this enough. We refer out anytime someone's like, hey, I want a different provider, or I want, if there's someone on our team that doesn't fit your needs, whatever that looks like, let us know. Let us help place you with a provider. We have providers on our team of, different cultural backgrounds. We have providers on our team that reside in larger bodies. We have providers on our team that are mothers of teenagers and college age kids. We have mothers on our team that have babies. Like, if you're looking for different lived experience, going through menopause, getting married, whatever it is, like we have providers that have different lived experiences that can match where you're at in your life. And I think that's really important, not because your provider has to have gone through the same things you've gone through, but it gives them a deeper understanding in addition to their professional experience. So I can't encourage you enough. Please reach out, send me a DM. I'm always in the DMs, connecting with people. We would absolutely love, love, love to support you in whatever way that looks like. So, to wrap this episode with a bow, I really wanted to just share it because it's one of those moments that, I do this day in and day out. I talk about food freedom. I talk about body image. So it's sometimes hard for me to see my own progress because I'm in it. I'm just in it all the time. I'm talking about it. I'm researching. I'm working with clients. I'm working with our team of providers. I'm getting supervision. Like, I'm just in it. So when one of those moments happens where it kind of like it jars me and it makes me like it felt like I was in like a vortex of like in that moment, like transporting me back to this version of myself that hated my body, specifically my belly and my stomach, to then be like, oh my gosh, I don't have negative thoughts in this moment. I don't hate my belly. I actually really appreciate it and am so thankful and grateful for my body. And I get to be this role model for not only a child, but my daughter when we live in a world where women right now, not right now, and like forever have been told to hate their bodies and they're not good enough and they should be smaller and etc. But there is a war going on against women right now and our bodies and our bodily autonomy. So it's just such a fucking cool moment. And I'm excited to share it with you. And it's one of those things where I'm like, this can be your reality too. Like if your child has made a comment on your body, or if you're afraid to be naked in front of your child, like that's another thing I notice. Like I feel like I saw a piece of content about this. Like, I'm a naked mom. And what that means is like I'm not trying to hide my body from my daughter. Like, if she's coming in the bathroom in the morning with me and I'm showering or I'm getting dressed or whatever, like I'm trying to embrace my body in front of her to normalize acceptance of body, to normalize bodies, to normalize fat, to normalize scars. Like I've shared on here, I've had multiple excisions on my back for moles that have come back precancerous. So she's like very well versed with seeing boo-boos and scars and freckles and moles and skin spots, and that is normal. These are bodies, right? And so you can do this too. You can do this. And if that feels too hard right now, you don't have to go from hating your body and obsessing and commenting negatively to being naked in front of your child and loving it and accepting it. That's not the goal. The goal is to take one baby step forward. And that's where our team of professionals is here for you. So if you found this episode to be helpful, to be inspirational, to be a source of motivation for where you want to be as a parent, as a loved one, as a mentor to children, please comment on Apple Podcasts, rate, review, subscribe. And when you leave a review, you can comment there and let us know, like, Was this the episode that really got you excited? What do you want to see more of? The more that you let us know, the more I can create content that speaks directly to you and is going to be helpful for you. So send me a DM on Instagram at find.food.freedom. Let me know that you are listening. Let me know what you're loving, what you want to hear more of. I'm so grateful to be here with you. I'm so grateful to have a space to reflect my wins and share such personal experiences with you. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. And I cannot wait to chat with you next week. Bye.